Century, and Leon, who runs that Century Post, was talking about a couple of things, and he was kind of discouraged a little about the whole growth of our industry, and he's especially concerned about schools that are losing money or just not really making it. And I know we have, like, right now we have schools that are in all different locations. Got Sal out in San Diego. Dave's in North Carolina. He's got a nice location. We got Mick Perry, who's in the state of Washington. Good location. We got Jason Smith, who's in a very, very small town in Florida, but he's still kind of kicking. He's number 5 or 6 on the contest. He's only got 3,500 people or 3,600 people in his town. We got Kemp Brown, who's doing a lot of new students this month. And everyone's doing what needs to be done in their town to do good business. And a lot of times it just differs. We look at Tom Baker. Tom Baker doesn't have to do a lot. And they go, man, that's not fair. Well, he doesn't have to do a lot now because he just opened a great location. He's right, just like Mick Perry's, right next to the entrance of a major grocery store. He gets a lot of people walking by, a lot of people just looking in his windows. That's selling his program itself. It's also up to like 430 students now. So when you figure a certain percentage of your school is giving referrals, well, as you start snowballing into the 400 students, that's more and more referrals that are coming in. So he's in a little different position. Kemp Brown, I mean, he's just working it. He's working the school system in his town. He's getting out there volunteering. So he does what it has to be done in his type of demographics. But as a lot of schools do different things and they have different expenses, we always want to make sure that we're profitable. I was talking to Melanie Strauss just a little while ago, and I go, owning your own business is tough. It takes a very much amount of resiliency. It takes a lot of self-discipline. You know, Melanie loves to train. She was just saying that's one of her downfalls, is she really likes to compete. She wants to compete on this national team, but she also knows that she has to make a profit in her school to pay her rent and pay her employees. So she has to balance that. She'd rather be out there playing martial arts, but she knows she has to dedicate it. So it does take a lot of self-discipline. It also takes a lot of self-discipline for us to make money for our schools. The school could be making money, but if we don't have good self-discipline in watching our accounting or how we spend our money, we can take in quite a bit of money, but we don't seem to make a lot of money because we spend it too fast on other things. So I'm going to just talk about 5 things today, 5 reasons I think schools lose money, or we can just kind of turn this around and be more positive, 5 things you can do to make sure your school makes more money. And the one is, it's either slow accounting or bad accounting. Slow accounting is, I will talk to a school owner who wants to do $1 million school. He knows he has to have $800 or $83,000 each month to be $1 million school. I'll say, where are we standing right now? And I don't know, my accounting's not really up to date. I'm going to have to get those numbers back to you. Well, when you have slow accounting, it's really hard for you to find out where your expenses are compared to what your gross is going to be. Bad accounting and slow accounting could be just how often you put your expenses into your accounting. So all of a sudden you buy something big from Century, you spend some stuff on some supplies, and you run an ad and just prepay that, but it doesn't go into your accounting, and all of a sudden, you know, you're looking, go, I should have money in my bank account, but I don't have money in my bank account. It's because you were slow on your accounting. So number 1 tip is to not only be totally accurate on your accounting, but try to make sure it's up to date. It's really nice if I'm coaching someone and I call them, I go, okay, where are you now? Where do you want to be by the end of the month? And where's that gap? Okay, now we know all that. What do we have to do? If I was trying to get $83,000 gross this month, and all of a sudden I find out I'm at $75,000, well, that's doable. You know, I got to get $8,000. Now, how am I going to get $8,000? This could be new paid in fulls. Is it 2 renewal paid in fulls? Is it getting down payments? Is it prepaying for summer camps? I can figure a way to do it, but I have to know what the gap is. So tip number 1, again, is make sure accounting is up to date. Make sure you know the numbers. not just your accountant knows the numbers. Each month or each week, I would like to know exactly where I am and exactly where my gap to the goal is. This way, when I meet with my team, we can set goals, we can decide the plan of action, and we can make things happen. Number 2 is some small business owners have one bank account. So they have their bank account. As people sign up, they're putting money into the bank account. When things come up to be paid, they're paying from the bank account. They're taking money out to pay their groceries from their bank account, things like that. It's really important that you separate your bank accounts. Yeah, a couple of people froze up. I want to just make sure that, okay, Mick Perry's moving now. Okay. So we want to make sure we have more than one bank account. So you have to have a bank account for your school. And then for your school, you may want 2 others. One, you want a tax account. If you're doing estimated income taxes, and every 3 months you have to put in estimated money, and all of a sudden you look in your regular bank account and go, man, it's a little bit low, and I got to pay my estimated taxes. Well, since you know you have to pay estimated taxes, besides your business checking account, I would have a tax account. So you're putting that money aside so you're not hit. I've seen so many schools have financial problems or even go under because they fell back on taxes. So make sure you have those 2 things separate. Also like to have a business savings account. The business savings account would be things like emergencies that come up. All of a sudden the air conditioner goes on the top of your roof, you're responsible for that, and you need $5,000. Well, it's really nice to have a business savings account, emergency account where you can take that money from. So when you start thinking about your business, I want my business checking account. This is where I'm paying my payroll. This is where I'm paying my rent. I want a savings account, and this could be automatic too. If you have a checking account, usually the bank can give you a combination. So you have a checking account that's actually going to transfer maybe $500, $1,000 per month into your business savings account, and that's your emergency account. And then separate your taxes, because we know we have to pay those taxes every 3 months. We want to make sure that money's in there, so we want to have that account. Another thing, if you are a corporation, if you're an S corporation, you're an LLC, and all of a sudden through your LLC, you start taking money out of your business account to pay personal debt, all of a sudden your corporate shield, that shield of protection for liability, is gone. So you want to make sure you have your personal checking account, your personal savings account. The personal savings account, again, is like your emergency fund if something happens. And then you should have your investment account, where you're taking your money for tax-deferred savings that you're going to not touch, that is going for investments, is going for retirements. It's constantly growing. So when you get to a certain age and you decide, okay, this is it, I'm going to maybe keep my school going, but I'm going to also live off my investments, you have money saved and put aside. So that's quite a few bank accounts. Again, for your bank, you have your checking account. You're not going to use that for personal. That's just your business checking account. You have your savings account for emergencies, and you have your tax account. And then you're taking your salary, you're taking your sub-S distribution on a monthly basis, quarterly basis, how you do it. That goes into your personal account. All your personal things are done from that account. Again, it's really important to have some type of emergency fund just in case something happens. I know in my life it seems like something's happening either every month or every other month where you're kind of surprised about some bills. So I want to make sure I have money to take care of those things. Next thing is poorly priced martial arts lessons. You have to kind of find a middle ground. Probably back in the early 2000s, there was a guy named Fred Mertens. He had mass training. A lot of business practices now are still for mass training. He came up with the idea with a couple other people, including Bill Clark, that instead of having 200 students paying $100, it better be off having 100 students be paying $200, so everyone went on the prices. Everyone went up on the prices knowing that they're going to sign up less students. Well, knowing that there is a price and demand, if you're in a certain area that's lower income and you're trying to demand a lot of money, you're not signing up a lot of students, well, that's probably one of the reasons. You can also be in a place where your prices are just too low, and all of a sudden, even though you have a lot of customers, you're not doing enough gross. So you really have to define your pricing. And this is individual. If I said, well, Sal Covento is now doing $215 a month, he finds that's really, really good. Well, that may be good for him, but Kent Brown in Tennessee, it may not be great for him. So if Sal's in an area where the average household income is $100,000 plus, it's a little different than Jason Smith being in an area where probably people are making less than $50,000. So make sure you price your lessons accordingly. You want to make sure that you get enough money for your lessons, but at the same time, you want to make sure you have enough students. My daughter, Valerie, went to a place this weekend. I think it was called Twist and Turn Ninja Training. She thought it was going to be more martial arts, but it's actually an indoor gym that looks like the American Ninja Warrior, but it's all for kids. They had the curved wall, they had ladders, all kinds of things. It's really neat because they did a grand opening this weekend without having a telephone to answer. They did it all online. And their classes were filled by Friday for this weekend's classes. Well, Valerie got an appointment for Sunday night. She brought the kids over Sunday night. They thought it was the best thing that they ever did. They had a total blast running up these walls and climbing and everything. Then they went for the sale, and the sale wasn't that much per month. It was $100, I think, for a 6-month program per student, which was really good. Val would have paid that, but she has 3 kids, so that's $300 a month. So all of a sudden, even though Valerie makes a good amount of income, they outprice themselves for a family membership. So they could have had 3 new students, but because of pricing right now, so I'm sure they were adjusting that. In fact, they actually thanked Val for bringing that to her attention because they were thinking of price per student, not price per family. So again, making sure that your lessons are correctly priced. One of the reasons schools fail is they don't invest back into the business. At some point, your business won't be able to grow without investing more money. So all of a sudden, you're getting to a position where you need more staff. I'm getting more and more students. I can't handle all these people myself. I need some assistance. Well, we have to invest some money back into school. We have to invest money into training staff. We have to invest money into hiring staff. Now, all of a sudden, I love to have my accounting done, but it's just not getting fast enough. I used to be able to do it great by myself. Okay, now we're going to have to outsource that. So some money has to go back into your business as you're growing. Also, you want to make sure if you're doing that, you're investing it wisely. You may not have, so you may have great mats right now and go, man, if I had these thicker mats, my school would be really, really awesome. Oh, is that a good investment in your business that's going to have a return? Our newer, thicker mats going to get you more students and sign up more people and increase your bottom line? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it's investing into a better website that you're not doing yourself, but you have a professional doing, and all of a sudden now you're getting more students coming in that way. Maybe you're thinking, hey, I want to put an extra floor. If I had 2 rooms, if I can just put a wall in the middle of my space and have 2 rooms, that would be a great investment. Well, it may be easier running classes, but when you put a wall in your room and all of a sudden that you have 2 rooms, you need double the staff. You need a head instructor on each floor. You need an assistant on each floor, and things become a lot more difficult. So at a certain point, you will have to invest. At that time, you want to make sure that you're investing smartly in your business. Are you putting money that's going to give you a return and not just make it nicer? Sometimes we just want to make it nicer. We want to clean it up and put a better sign and things like that. But even the better sign is going to get you more students. On the last part of my notes here, my metal desk enrolled a lot of students. When I had my first school, my landlord gave me a desk. It was a metal desk. It wasn't the prettiest desk, but I signed up a ton of students on that desk. When I sold my school, the first thing the buyer did was he threw away the metal desk, and he bought some real nice oak furniture. It looked really, really nice. He went out of business in about 10 months, So it wasn't really the furniture that was getting him the students. Probably a waste of money in investing in the school. He just spent $100,000 for the school. He probably should have made some of that money back before he started spending some money out of his pocket. So just realize that it comes to a point, okay, I'm making money. Some of this money is not just going into more profit for me. Now it's time to reinvest so the school keeps growing. So I start grossing more. Now that I'm grossing more, then I will eventually make more net and take home. Okay, last thing, poor online presence. Everyone knows that everyone finds everything online. But some of our websites just aren't the absolute best. Put yourself in a position of buying martial arts lessons and look at your site. Are you learning about the vision of the school? Are you learning about the mission of the school? Are you seeing some of your commonly asked questions that you may have about kids or adults' lessons? Are those being answered? Can you find out about the instructors? I look at so many sites, and now if I'm signing up, I want to know who's going to be teaching me or who's teaching my kids. Some people have nothing about the instructors. Now, if I was doing my research and I was looking on the website and reading about my instructor, probably going to go beyond that. I said, I wonder what this guy's really like, and I'm going to just Google his name. I'm probably going to look up on his Facebook account, see what he posts on his Facebook account. So you want to make sure that's consistent. All you guys listening right now are Rainmaker clients. I don't know if everyone has the whole path developed on Rainmaker. So when someone goes on your site and they're looking for martial arts lessons and they go to the kids and they also go to kids and they want to get more info or see the schedule, they have the opportunity to put in their email address. Now they're looking at the schedule. Rainmakers already knows that it came from the kids page, so it's going to start a flow to that email address for kids information. Then all of a sudden you have a free trial program. So now they can click free trial program. They can decide when they want to do it. They can actually schedule their first class. Then Rainmakers are going to automatically send them a text reminder for the class. You're going to get a task to make sure you call them and introduce yourself, but everything's automated. If you're not doing that, there's videos online. If you go to addmembers.com, that's the main address for Rainmaker, addmembers.com/Rainmaker Guru. So if you go to the Rainmaker Guru, you're going to get all the videos that myself, William Pierce, Michael did, and it can take you through how to create the path. It's very, very easy. There's only 5 or 6 steps. Have that integrated with your website, but make sure it's easy for people to sign up online. You know, I was looking at, someone posted something from that I did back in the 90s. We used to do these things, newsletters, like as a talking newsletter. It was a cassette that went out once a month and talked about different things. And I was thinking out so much importance was done on the phone call. How to make sure when you get a phone call, you can convert that phone call into a person making an appointment. Well, nowadays, there are certain people that want to talk to you, and there's probably a majority of the people that want to sign up, want to find out about your school, but I don't really want to talk to you. You know, I haven't even discovered this on my own. I want to go out and find out what you do. I want to find out a little bit about you. I want to find out what other people who've experienced your school think about your school. I want to see if the schedule fits my schedule. I want to see if my child's going to like it. I'd really like to see a video with the instructor introducing himself, taking me a look around the school so I don't have to go to the school to find out what it's like. I can actually see it. There may be 2 or 3 schools in town, and I don't want to go visit everyone and do a trial at each one. I want to make sure I can look inside, meet the instructor, hear from the instructor, see what it's all about, and get started without talking to anyone. Personally, you know, I've done this twice. I signed up at Orange Theory. I knew where it was, but I found out all my information, made my appointments, everything online, signed up online. When I joined Planet Fitness, did the same thing, just walked in there, go, hey, I've already signed up online. I'd like to get my card. So work on your online presence. You know, probably 20% of your students can come from your online presence. Make sure it's totally awesome. So those are my 5 things. I'll just go from real fast. Accounting, just make sure you know where you are at any given time through your business. So you can decide, is this a challenge I'm having by getting my growth up, or is this a challenge by overspending? I have to make sure that I have money at the end of the month. Too many people have too much month and not enough money. So knowing our accounting, knowing where we want to be, where we are, and what our gap is at every given time is a way for us to keep on top of that. Next thing is to make sure your personal and your business bank accounts are totally separate. Next thing is make sure your pricing is online for your community. Number 3 is make sure you're willing to reinvest money that you're making out of your school. It's not all going in savings. It's not all going in expenses, but there is an expense going back, which is called reinvesting in your school. Improving your product, adding new products, adding employees, adding education. And the next thing is check your online presence, make sure it's up to date, make sure it's the best in town, most information. There's a couple of good sites to look at. I think Paul Garcia is America's Best Defense. He's in the Boston area. He's got a great website. Of course, William Pierce has a great website. So take a look at some of the movers and shakers. Steve DeCastile has a great website. Good ones to look at, good ones to follow. Any questions, anyone?
Mr. Silva, you mentioned 2 people. You mentioned Steve DeCastile. What town is he in? How can we look at his website?
It's KMMA Tampa.
And you said Pierce, somebody named Pierce?
William Pierce.
How do I find him?
His is Motion Tulsa.
Oh, yeah, you sent me his information.
Yeah. And then Paul Garcia, ABD. It's America's Best Defense. He's up in Massachusetts. Paul's got some nice video. I like his whole header is a video.
How would I find out what the national average is, or what the average is in an area like mine? In between Seattle and Tacoma, it's kind of a weird area. I mean, we've got Microsoft and Amazon and all these other people up here, but you know me, I'm kind of out towards the country. So I used to give people a really good family discount at my group enrollments. And what I've been trying lately is, you know, just saying, having a $99 a month and having every single person in the family have their own individual membership. And it seemed to work really well, instead of $179 for a family of 3 or 4 on a, you know, on a big group enrollment. But I am good looking at my pricing right now. What would be some resources to find out how I should price it?
Become a secret shopper. Get someone on your phone and just checking out the other schools. I'm sure someone like Randy Holman, who's in probably a higher area than you are. I don't know if that's a fair comparison. So again, you'd have to look more on the outskirts. A lot has to do with your statistics. You know, are you enrolling 80% of the people that come in and do your trial? I think you are. So, you know, that tells you a lot that you're priced right. But it also, a lot of times, when someone's asking for a referral and they're talking to one of your students and go, well, yeah, it's $180 a month. You know, people just say, okay, they know your school's $180 a month. If that doesn't fit their budget, would they never call for you? I don't know. So, again, I was trying to talk to all the people that are in the contest. Again, I wish I could tell you, I really wish I could tell you that, you know, with this contest, all the top 5 people are doing the same thing, and that's the common denominator. I would say that they all have good websites. I was looking at Sal's website today. I like his website. The Bakers have a good website. I know they came down to Florida a while back, and we made sure they were all set up on the Rainmaker path. So I know they have a great website. So, you know, that's one of the things that they do have in common. Steve Baxley has a good website. but they're also doing other things. It's the combination of everything. We've talked about this a long time that, there's nothing that works great in martial arts or marketing. There are a lot of things that work good. The more students you need, the more students you want, the more things that you have to do. I explained that I was watching that Adam Kiefer. He just gave a real quick marketing thing online, and I thought his analogy was really good. He says, you have a marketing bucket. How full is your marketing bucket? And most people that I talk to say it's not very full. I'm doing a couple things, but I probably could fit a lot in my marketing bucket. Again, this is part of being a school owner when we say you have to be disciplined. So it takes a lot of discipline, and it takes a lot of discipline for Kent Brown to make sure he's volunteering in the school system. He's not getting paid by the school system. He's working in the school system just because he likes to become a volunteer, but that's quite a lot of hours and dedication. He's getting results from getting new students, but he's putting his time in. So I love to say, hey, we can just work on a Facebook ad and everyone's going to get a lot of students. That just doesn't seem to be happening. So again, we're still in an industry where we have to hit it big with a lot of different ideas. Yeah, Mr. Perry, you're correct on your question. Okay, everyone, if there's no more questions, I'm going to go. Mr. Perry, if you just want to log back on in 5 minutes or 30 minutes, log back on in 5 minutes?
5 is good.
Okay, very good, sir.
Thank you.
Talk to everyone later. Thank you.